So the first one is biggest snowball ever, so this is a pretty decent augment. It essentially gives you a knockout skill, which is especially good for melee champs like Darius and Zed. You're also getting 100 snowball ability haste, and the snowball can go through minions. The downside is that the damage is quite low, so it may not be great for a lot of ranged champs. I will rank this tier 2. I will let my assistant to do the rest of talking.
I'm a baby kitty. Where is mom? This gives you bonus healing and shield power of 50%. Additionally, there is a 70% movement speed bonus, similar to Soraka's passive. Normally, this is picked by enchanter supports because, for tanks, there is a better augment called Protein Shake. The speed bonus is only effective when moving toward a marked ally, so I would rank this tier 3. Wooglet Switch Cap. The next one is Wooglet Switch Cap. It gives you a needlessly large rod immediately, which is worth 1200 gold. This is a huge boost in the beginning. Also, when you complete the quest, you combine both items into one. This means at the end of the game, you effectively gain an extra slot for a 7th item. So, I'll rank this tier 1. Clown College. The next one is Clown College. This is the open source augment from Shaco. It's really good with Garen and Fiddlesticks. So, let's say for Fiddlesticks, you can just jump in and use Clown College. But it's not limited to those two champs, since it also gives you the backstab passive. In addition, it deals 20% of the target's maximum health as true damage and leaves a shackle box upon death. I'll rank this tier 0. Draw Your Sword. Draw Your Sword is another tier 0 augment. It gives you 30% bonus attack damage, 25% bonus attack speed, 30% bonus health, 25% bonus movement speed, and 20% lifesteal. It's really good for Graves and Samira. Actually, almost every short-ranged champion can choose this one. Just remember, this augment is only available for ranged champions. Empyrean Promise. Empyrean Promise gives you 15% health and shield power and replaces your summoner spell with the Empyrean Promise active. Honestly, a 15% increase in this mode is basically nothing. The shield it gives is also negligible, especially considering that many tanks' health pools can easily go above 10,000. I'll rank this trash. Windspeaker's Blessing. It's another trash augment. The armor and magic resistance have diminishing returns, which means the more you stack, the less effective it gets. Since tanks already build a lot of armor and Mr. The buffs this augment provides add almost nothing. Upgraded Michael's Blessing. This is another good augment for support champions, especially when the enemy team has a lot of crowd control. Basically, you get Milio's ultimate every 45 seconds. I will rank this tier 1. Ominous Pact. This augment is really limited to only a few champs who can life steal, like Vladimir, Swain, or Singed. For Singed, if you leave Q active, it won't cost you health after the initial cast. This is really only for champions who desperately need the movement speed. Because it costs 5% current health each time you cast a skill, I will rank this tier 3. Snowball Roulette. This is another trash augment. Even if it applies Ignite or Exhaust, it's not a game changer, not to mention the fact that you might just miss your snowball entirely. Skip this one. Symphony of War. I think people are used to playing without runes in this mode, and I don't feel much difference when picking this augment. These runes require you to stack them up, and you may get wiped out before you even reach maximum stacks. I will rank this tier 3. Quantum Computing. This one goes really well with champs like Katarina, who can literally kill all enemies within 1 second. It also goes well with Pantheon. It provides a huge AD and AP bonus, so it boosts champs who already have high damage output. I will rank this tier 2. Mad Scientist. This is a fun one. Each time you respawn, you either become really big or really small. When small, you get 70 ability haste and 40% bonus movement speed, but no damage buffs, so it's inconsistent. When you grow large, you basically gain additional damage and health. If you don't have other choices, you can pick this one. I'll rank this tier 2. King Me. For this augment, upon entering the enemy team's gate, you become King and gain a random prismatic augment, plus your first legendary item becomes a masterwork. However, this is trash in the early game because you start one augment behind the enemies. It might be good for Twisted Fate, Scion, and Pantheon who can teleport straight to the gate. But honestly, why risk getting a random prismatic when you could just pick a useful one in the first place? I rate this trash. Giant Slayer. For this one, you become 75% smaller and gain 30% bonus movement speed, which is a huge boost. You also get at least 20% increased damage against larger targets. It makes ranged champs kite easily. I will rate this tier 0, a must-have. Master of Duality. This one is limited to champs who deal both AD and AP damage. The stacks only last 5 seconds, which makes it hard to maintain out of combat. However, Katarina's ult can stack it infinitely. Other good champs are Kai'Sa, Varus, Jax, and Kog'Maw. I will rate this tier 3. Protein Shake. As long as you are a tank having health or shield power, you can pick this. It is OP. It grants you huge bonus healing and shielding. Mordekaiser will carry games with this augment. Other champs like Mundo, Taric, and Zac can also pick this one. I will rank it tier 1. Slow Cooker. It really depends on the matchups. Sometimes team fights end quickly, and you don't have time to cook them. Also, this one needs to work with other augments to raise your health pool to be effective, and you have to make sure you can stack Heart of Steel. I will rank this tier 4. Back to basics. This is a must-have augment. It increases your damage by 35% and gives you massive buffs like 70 ability haste and increased healing and shielding. Since the ultimate cooldowns for many champs are so long, you probably won't cast that many ults in a game anyway. Therefore, the stat trade-off is worth it. Together with other augments, you can basically one-shot squishy targets. I will rank this tier 0, must-have. Final Form. A must-have for the majority of frontline champs. You gain 50% of your max health as shield, 20% omnivamp, and 30% bonus movement speed. It's probably not good for ranged champs, since if you get targeted, you still won't survive. I will rank this tier 0 since it's a strong augment. Fey Magic. This is the signature ability from Lulu. It's really OP with Anivia. Other champs that are good with this include Katarina. When she ults, no one can interrupt her. It is also great for Fiddlesticks. I will rank this tier 1.